What are we looking for? Dogs.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Bird, and we back on Bird's Eye View with it. Like always, appreciate the love and support. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. Stop what you're doing, smash the like button, smash subscribe button, hop in the comment section, comment whatever you want. Of course, I'm dropping daily bangers day by day. You know we got news today coming out of Colorado, and we're gonna jump right into it, dog. So of course we back with another recap with this Colorado football program. As always, shout out Well Off Media, Reach the People Media, the pregame show, for providing us phenomenal footage each and every day. As we all know, we are hot on the recruiting trail right now. This Colorado football program is definitely taking off for that 2026 class. Obviously, we landed a commitment out of Preston Ashley, the 4-star corner, number 1 cornerback coming out of the state of Mississippi. Landed a huge commitment out of him yesterday. Chose the Buffs over Florida State and Florida as well. Huge get for our Colorado football program for that 2026 class. Of course, Preston mentioned, he said his main takeaway was that Boulder was a place for him, and that if he wants to make it to the NFL, CU is the place. He said, recapping his trip to Boulder, everything about it, from the coaches, the city, he was really blown away from everything. He said, why not Colorado? Colorado just had a Heisman Trophy winner, a great season, and we're going to be on the way to winning a national championship. Love the energy that he's going to bring to this Colorado football program, man. This guy can really play football in that defensive backfield, whether you line him up outside in the nickel. He's played some safety as well, too. He has a lot of versatility in his game, has returned kicks as well. Damn good football player. Again, the number 1 corner coming out of the state of Mississippi is now going to be coached by the number 1 corner to ever play the game. It's going to be a perfect match there. Of course, right, Manoah Faupusa, right, a 3-star defensive tackle, right, 6'3", about 340, coming out of the state of California. This young man recently dropped his top 3, which is going to be Arizona, Colorado, and North Carolina, rounds out his final 3. We can expect an announcement coming out of this young man on July 5th. Of course, he was just visiting this Colorado football program. He was a part of that, Poly to Boulder pipeline video that I mentioned. Of course, he has high hopes and high expectations for this Colorado football program. He said his main takeaways from his time in Boulder was that we have a defensive scheme that will fit how he plays and put him in the best position possible at all times. He also mentioned, he said the message that he got from the staff was that he's a high priority for us on our board. Of course, he said the process has been fun and nothing short but a blessing from his Lord above. He said the main stress that is involved is always having to worry about if you'll make the right choice or not. But like he's heard many times, if it feels right, it most likely is right. And then everything is right here with this Colorado football program. With Coach Domata Pecco here, we have a defensive scheme that fits you perfectly. And you're the type of guy that can help, right, boost this program moving forward. Again, 6'3", about 340, 350. I mean, just a space-eating defensive tackle who just doesn't get moved backwards at all. But he's also super athletic for his size. Scored multiple touchdowns, right? 12 rushing attempts, 7 touchdowns in his career, right? I mean, his work ethic, his leadership ability, he does a lot of great things on the football field, on and off the field, honestly. And, he mentioned that his offseason is going really well. He said he's been shredding a lot of weight, and he will continue to do so. That's going to only make him even more athletic. And he said that his team is coming together, and he's feeling excited about his upcoming season. And he believes he has what it takes, and the team has what it takes to win a state title. Again, this young man here will be announcing his commitment July 5th. Arizona, Colorado, UNC fall in line in his final 3. Let's see exactly what it transpired there. Boulder is home. Of course, Rodney Corton Jr., right, the 4-star linebacker coming out of the state of Georgia, right, top 15 linebacker in the country. He will commit July 12th. He just recently dropped his final 3, which is Colorado, Ole Miss, and FSU, rounds out his final 3. So, of course, we're looking to land that big-time linebacker commit. Of course, we got Mantrez Walker in last cycle, so we're looking to bring in another, highly talented high school linebacker that a lot of schools around the country are after the services of. Of course, we'll be right here on Bird's Eye View with the news if he does ultimately commit to this Colorado football program. Trip Skewes, right? He dropped his top 4 as well. We mentioned him, numerous times on this channel as well. 6'7" offensive lineman. He dropped his top 4, which is Vandy, Texas Tech, Colorado, UNC, rounds out his final 4. He will commit July 1st. So we do have a commitment coming from him soon. July 1st is that's Tuesday. That'll be next Tuesday. He will commit, and let's see exactly what will transpire there. T.I. Umukais, the number 1 player in the state of Colorado, right? The defensive tackle, 4-star defensive tackle, who has a lot of interest for his services as well too. This young man, of course, he visited this Boulder, Colorado football program. He said what stood out to him was just the hospitality defensive line coach Domata Peko and the staff showed him and his family. He said the message they had for him was just know that at the university they're about family and building relationships. He said he didn't have a player host because him and the other recruits hung out with Coach Peko and some of the staff members. He said what really surprised him was how the rest of the staff was able to pick it up and run with the program without Coach Prime being present. Again, this is the number 1 player in the state of Colorado. It looks like Stanford, UCLA, Washington, UNC is also in the mix for him as well. Of course, this young man here, coming off a state championship season, he won Cherry Creek. They won 13 games and they won the 5A state championship in Colorado last year. He racked up 75 tackles as a junior, over 180 tackles over 3 varsity seasons dating back to his freshman year. Again, a classic nose guard here that's versatile, can play the 3-tech, fiery interior defensive lineman that can definitely make plays. These are the type of guys that you have to keep in state, right? The number 1 guys, the top guys, they have to stay in Colorado, right? Him and obviously another one, right, with Deacon Schmidt, right? The number 1 offensive lineman in Colorado. He will commit this Saturday. Down to a final 3 with him as well. Oklahoma, Colorado, Alabama is in his final 3 again. He will commit this Saturday. We have to find a way to keep the best offensive lineman in Colorado, and we have to find a way to keep the number 1 overall player, best defensive lineman in Colorado. We can get the 2 top trench player guys in Colorado to stay in state. That's going to be a huge start to what we want to continue to build with this Colorado football program. Of course, Xavier Payne, we mentioned him as well to the offensive lineman that was committed to Florida State, decommitted from the Seminoles, reopened up his commitment. Excited to see exactly what's going to transpire there. He literally decommitted right after his visit with us. So that's always a good sign, right? When you get a decommit from a guy that just visited your program. It's going to be fun to track there. CJ Sadler, the number 1 player in the state of Michigan, looks like he had a phenomenal time on his visit as well. Of course, we're still right there in the thick of things with that young man. Definitely have to find a way to close. So much versatility in his game. I mean, he just make play after play, just roll him out on the field and just let him make plays offensively, defensively, and in special teams as well. He's a 3-phase guy. Of course, we also have Jordan Deck, right? We got to get into some guys here that we were high on us, and they ultimately didn't pan out. Jordan Deck, 4-star safety out of Frisco, Texas. He has committed to Baylor. You can scratch him off your wish list. Julius Miles, number 1 tight end in Florida. Looks like he's dropped the final 3 of Florida State, Louisville, and Syracuse. He will commit July 5th. Looks like you can scratch him off your wish list as well. Vance Spafford, the 4-star wide receiver who was committed to Georgia. He was expected to flip from UGA. Of course, like I had mentioned in previous videos, it was basically down to us and Miami, and he ultimately chose the Hurricanes, so you can scratch him off of your wish list as well. Of course, Sedarian Morgan, right, still waiting on his commitment July 2nd, right? We're still in a good spot. We're definitely going to have to battle Alabama, though. I will say that. We're going to have to battle Alabama. I feel like it's down to 2 schools at this point, Alabama and Colorado for Sedarian Morgan. Of course, he's from Alabama, number 1 player in Alabama, 5-star wide receiver, number 2 wide receiver in the country. They're going to do all they can to keep him in the state of Alabama. That's expected. But we're right there where we want to be, right? And it's going to be fun, tracking the development of his recruitment as well, too. So, of course, right, like I said, we're hot on the recruiting trail right now. It seems like recruiting news is coming out by the second. I don't want to forget about Carson Crawford, the 3-star linebacker coming out of the state of Texas that was originally committed to Texas State. He decommitted from Texas State right after the Colorado visit. All signs are pointing towards him committing to Colorado. He did get a crystal ball for this Colorado football program. Really love his game. I feel like he is a sleeper in this 2026 class, right? He's a state champion in the state of Texas. You know, you're not a top 80 player in the state of Texas if you can't play football. He's a high 3-star guy, ranked at an 88 right now. A 90 is considered a 4-star, so he's right there, 6'4", 215, athletic, can make plays, was a defensive MVP in the state championship game this season. Had 9 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 sacks in the state championship game. Done some great things all year. Of course, it looks like he is going to end up committing at some point here too. So it's going to be fun to continue to track the development of all these young men here, dog. I mean, that 2026 class, I still feel like it's going to be a really solid class for us. Of course, we still have a chance to make this picture here really come to fruition, and all these guys ended up being Colorado Buffaloes, you know, from left to right trip. And obviously you got Joseph Pecco, right? You got Tokio as well in the middle of the linebacker. Obviously you next to him, you have Faupusa. And then of course, lastly, you have T.I. Umukais. So it's a legit chance we land every player in this picture. If not, I still think we can at least definitely get 3 or 4 out of them for sure. But it wouldn't shock me if we go 5 for 5 here, man. But not gonna keep it long. Just want to bring you guys another phenomenal update. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. You know what time it is, dog. Bird's eye view, man.